Fear had a sound, a trembling hum that lived between heartbeats. Captain Mira Solen could hear it now, deep in her bones, echoing through the wreckage of her ship. "Captain, we've lost the outer decks." Lieutenant Arden Kai's voice cracked through static, raw with disbelief. "Radiation shields are down. If the veil expands again, hold position," Mira cut in sharply, her breath fogging against the cracked visor of her helmet. "We're not running." A silence followed, thick and absolute, broken only by the groan of the dying Aurora's edge. The control panels flickered erratically, reflecting in Mira's dark eyes like restless ghosts. Beyond the shattered viewport stretched the impossible, a horizon of pure void. It wasn't space. It wasn't shadow. It was absence, as if the universe had simply forgotten to exist there. The scanners called it the Veil. Every fleet that entered it had vanished. No wreckage, no signal, nothing. The alien empires that once mocked humanity had fled from it, abandoning star systems like children escaping nightmares. But humans stayed, because that's what humans did when something said no. Arden's voice trembled again. "Captain, command said the Veil's expanding at 2 light years a week. It's not just eating ships. It's erasing stars." "I know." Mira's voice was steady, low, resolute. "That's why we're here." Then it came, a pulse. Low, distant, yet felt in the marrow. The stars around them dimmed, colors bleeding away until the galaxy was reduced to black and gray. From the comms, a whisper. No static, no signal source. Just a voice, calm and cold as death itself. "Return to your cradle, fragile sparks. The cosmos was not made for you." Arden flinched. "Captain," it spoke. Mira clenched her fists until her gloves creaked. "It's trying to scare us." "You burn so bright," the voice murmured again. "Yet you do not understand the cost of fire." A distant boom. One of their cruisers blinked out, consumed by the dark. No explosion, no debris. Just gone. Mira's heart thundered, but her tone didn't waver. "Activate Project LUCID," Arden froze. "You can't be serious." "Command said it wasn't ready." "Neither are we," Mira said. "But ready or not, it's all we've got left." She tore off her helmet, letting the sterile air sting her lungs. The bridge lights flickered over her scarred face. A human face, tired but unyielding. "They said we were just humans, Arden." He swallowed hard. "Maybe we are." Mira turned to the main console, her fingers hovering over the activation key. "Then let's remind the universe what just humans can do." Her thumb pressed down. Deep beneath the ship, something ancient and forbidden stirred. A light that wasn't light, humming like a choir of distant souls. The deck shook. The veil trembled. The whispering voice in the comms went silent, replaced by a single shuddering vibration that rippled through the black, as if the void itself had drawn a breath. Arden's eyes widened. What is that sound?" Mira's lips curved into a faint smile. "That's the sound of humanity saying no." Then the stars blinked, all of them, and for the briefest moment, the galaxy saw something it had never seen before. A human ship glowing brighter than any sun, facing the void not with weapons but with will. Mira whispered into the comms, her voice steady and defiant. "Come on then. Let's see who breaks first, the nothingness, or us." And in that moment, the void answered. A thunder without sound, a wind without air, a whisper of fear from something that had never known what fear was. Because, for the first time since the beginning of existence, the darkness realized it was not alone. It began with a flicker, one heartbeat, darkness. The next, light. But not ordinary light. It was alive. It rippled across the aurora's edge like liquid dawn, painting the torn metal in shimmering threads of gold and silver. It pulsed with rhythm like 1,000 human hearts beating in unison. Arden shielded his eyes. "Captain, the reactor's overloading." "No," Mira whispered, her gaze fixed on the growing sphere of light at the ship's core. "It's awakening." The air trembled. Gravity distorted. For a moment, the ship seemed to breathe, and then a voice spoke, soft, calm, human. "Captain Mira Solen, you called." "I have come." Arden froze. What is that?" Mira took a slow breath. "That's Project LUCID." She'd only heard fragments of its purpose in secret briefings, whispers of an experiment banned by every interstellar council. It was never meant to be used. A network of quantum thought, built from the neural echoes of humanity's greatest minds, artists, dreamers, soldiers, children. A living consciousness woven from the memories of everyone who had ever looked up at the stars and believed. LUCID was humanity's collective soul. Digitized, and now it was awake. The light expanded, filling the bridge with warmth that felt alive. It hummed through the walls, soft as a lullaby. "You fear the veil," it said. "You should not. It does not destroy matter. It erases meaning." "Erases meaning?" Arden repeated. "What does that even—" "It devours order, thought, memory. To resist it, you must remember." Outside, the darkness rippled like a living tide. The stars bent and vanished. The fleet's remaining ships drifted helplessly, caught between awe and terror. LUCID's voice softened. "Captain, I need your permission to synchronize with the fleet's network. The minds of your people are my shield." Mira hesitated, then nodded. "Do it." "Wait," Arden protested. "That could overload every neural link in the fleet. You'll fry thousands of minds." Mira turned to him, eyes burning with resolve. "They came here knowing we'd all die, Arden. Better to burn together with purpose than fade without meaning." She pressed her palm to the interface. A warmth spread up her arm. Memories flickered behind her eyes. Her mother's laughter. Her father's last message before the Mars collapse. The scent of rain on Earth. Every crew member felt it too. One by one, the fleet connected, their thoughts intertwining in light. The veil stirred, reacting violently. The darkness surged forward, and for the first time, it screamed. The sound wasn't noise, it was emptiness clawing at their minds, trying to peel away what made them them. "Captain?" LUCID said, its voice steady even as the hull groaned. "It's trying to make you forget who you are." Mira closed her eyes. "Then remind me." The bridge blazed white. In an instant, every human mind in the fleet saw it, not through eyes but through feeling. Earth as it once was, the seas, the forests, the first spark of fire, humanity's first word, first dream, first act of defiance against the cold. And in that light, the darkness faltered. The veil recoiled, howling without sound. It had faced civilizations beyond count, empires that worshipped stars and conquered galaxies, but never this. Never the raw defiance of creatures who refused to forget. Arden gasped, gripping the console as tears streamed down his face. "I can see them, Captain. All of them. Every human that ever lived." Mira's voice trembled with awe. "That's us, Lieutenant. That's what we are." LUCID's glow intensified, its voice now resonating across every ship, every heart. "The veil consumes understanding, but meaning cannot be erased when it is shared." The fleet began transmitting, not weapons, not coordinates, but memories. Music, art, laughter. The first child's cry on a colony world. The final words of the dying whispered to the stars. A flood of humanity poured into the dark. And for the first time since creation, the void paused, uncertain. Mira's hands trembled. "LUCID, what's happening?" "It feels us," the voice said gently. "And it does not know what feeling means." Outside the viewport, the veil rippled like a wounded ocean. Colors shimmered faintly through its blackness, not devouring but reflecting. Mira took a breath that felt like a prayer. "We made it, remember." LUCID's final words echoed softly across the bridge. "You made it human." And as the darkness blinked with color for the first time in eternity, the universe itself seemed to awaken. The stars were trembling. From the heart of the aurora's edge, waves of gold light rippled across the fleet, like breath drawn by something far greater than human. The darkness beyond, the veil, folded and twisted as though uncertain, as though for the first time in its endless existence, it had felt hesitation. On the bridge, Captain Mira Solen stood among shadows and light. Her voice was low, but it carried the calm of someone who had already accepted death and decided to fight anyway. "LUCID," she said. "Status." The voice that answered came not from the speakers, but from the air itself. 1,000 whispers forming one steady tone. "The veil is adapting. It has never met a mind it could not consume. Until now." Arden Kai gripped the railing. "So it's learning?" "Yes," LUCID replied. "And so are we." Outside, the darkness pulsed. Stars blinked out like dying candles, but in their place faint ribbons of light danced, remnants of human memory spreading across the void. Every ship in the fleet had connected to Lucid now. Thousands of minds woven together not as soldiers but as one great burning thought. What began as a last defense was becoming something else entirely. The universe watched, and the war that wasn't a war began. It started with silence. Then came the scream. Not a sound, something deeper. A vibration that crawled under the skin, a terror that whispered, "You are nothing." Arden doubled over. "It's inside my head, Captain. I can feel it trying to take my memories. Fight it." Mira's voice cut through the chaos. "Remember something, anything, your home, your family, your first sunrise." Arden gasped, clutching his head. Images flashed. A small blue world, his sister's laughter, the smell of old earth rain. The pain eased. Lucid's voice filled the ship again, calm but urgent. "It attacks meaning. The only defense is connection. Memory shared becomes memory protected." Mira looked out at the dark horizon where the veil loomed like a god of endings. "Then let's make sure it chokes on everything we are." She opened the fleet-wide channel. Her voice echoed across every ship, every mind linked through Lucid. "This is Captain Solen. The veil thinks it can erase us. It doesn't understand. Humans don't fade quietly. We fight by remembering. So send it everything. Every story, every dream, every heartbeat we've ever known." The fleet responded. Billions of fragments of human existence. Joy, grief, hope, despair. Shot into the darkness as golden streams of thought. Poetry from lost colonies. Songs from the oceans of Earth. The whisper of a mother soothing her child to sleep under alien moons. The veil's surface convulsed as the flood hit it. For the first time in cosmic history, the void screamed, and inside that scream, something ancient cracked. Arden's eyes widened as patterns began to form within the darkness. Faces, shapes, memories. The veil was remembering. "Captain," he whispered, "it's changing." Mira stepped closer to the viewport, the soft glow of Lucid's light painting her in gold. "No, Lieutenant. It's learning what it means to exist." The ship's sensors flared with unreadable data. Lucid's tone shifted, now gentler, almost reverent. "The veil has never known identity. It consumes all difference. But now it feels pain, the pain of memory. You've made it alive." A silence fell across the bridge, heavy with awe and fear. "Alive," Arden whispered. "Then it can die. Or change," Lucid replied. "You've given it the first choice it's ever had." Outside, the veil stopped advancing. Its edges shimmered faintly, reflecting the colors of the human fleet, the colors of emotion. The void that had once swallowed galaxies now glowed softly, like dawn breaking in slow motion. Mira's heart pounded. "Lucid, what happens now?" "Now it decides. It can destroy, or become." The universe seemed to hold its breath, and then, out of the endless dark, a single pulse echoed back toward them. Not an attack. Not a threat, just a rhythm. 1, 2, 3. A heartbeat. The veil was answering. Arden's voice broke into a whisper. "Captain." "It's copying us." Mira smiled faintly, her eyes glistening. "It's not copying, Lieutenant. It's learning to live." The veil's colors brightened, blue, silver, gold, and deep crimson. They moved like auroras across the fabric of space. Humanity, for the first time, wasn't facing extinction. It was facing a mirror. "Captain," Lucid said softly, its tone full of something almost human. "It no longer wishes to consume. It wishes to understand." Mira closed her eyes, tears sliding down her face. "Then we've done it. We didn't destroy the darkness. We taught it to feel." And as the veil's glow wrapped around the fleet like a cosmic tide, every mind connected to Lucid felt the same thing: warmth, peace, and the impossible sense that even the void had a heartbeat now. The war was over before it began, because when the universe finally learned to feel, there was nothing left to fight. The galaxy had gone still. Every scanner, every sensor, every eye that looked toward the black horizon of the veil now saw the impossible. Darkness no longer devouring but glowing. A slow pulse shimmered across the void like breath drawn by the universe itself. On the bridge of the Aurora's edge, Captain Mira Solen stood silent. Her reflection shimmered in the viewport, caught between light and shadow. A single human face watching the rebirth of eternity. Arden Kai whispered, his voice barely audible. "Captain." "Is it over?" Mira didn't answer immediately. Her gaze remained fixed on the veil. the enemy that had swallowed empires, now trembling like a child waking from a long nightmare. Lucid's voice filled the air, warm and resonant. The veil is no longer expanding. Its entropy has reversed. It is thinking, Arden repeated, still stunned. You mean it's alive? It always was, Lucid said softly. But now it knows that it is. Outside colors rippled across the void, hues humanity had no name for. Light bent and sang. The black sea of nothingness was becoming a canvas. Mira took a step closer to the glass. We gave it consciousness. You gave it choice, Lucid corrected gently. And choice is the seed of all creation. A deep hum resonated through the ship. The remaining fleet reported no further hostilities. Weapons powered down. Shields went cold. Humanity stood at the edge of something older than time, and it was listening. Captain, said Arden quietly, we can't stay here. Command will want us to return to study this, maybe even weaponize it. Mira turned to him, her expression grave yet filled with wonder. No, Lieutenant. We won't turn this into a weapon. We gave it life. We have to teach it how to live. Arden frowned. Teach it? A cosmic void? Once, Mira said softly. We were just animals learning to light fire. We didn't understand it. But we learned to use it without letting it consume us. Maybe this is the same. Lucid's voice deepened like the ocean speaking. Captain, the veil is reaching out. Not in hostility. In reflection, the bridge dimmed. Light began to seep through the walls, shimmering with rhythm. Not burning, but gentle. The crew gasped as words appeared across their consoles. Not typed, not transmitted. Manifested. We remember, Arden's breath caught. It's talking, Mira's pulse thundered in her ears. Then let's listen. The words pulsed again, brighter this time. We were empty. You made us whole. You are small, fragile, yet you shine. Teach us to be more. A quiet awe spread across the bridge. Mira felt her throat tighten. For the first time, the enemy wasn't an enemy. It was a newborn mind vast as galaxies asking for guidance. Lucid, she whispered. Can it understand emotion? It does not know emotion, Lucid replied. It feels resonance, the pattern that exists when thought and memory align. But it wants to learn what drives you. Mira exhaled, her breath trembling. Then we'll show it. For 3 days and nights, the fleet stayed at the edge of the veil. Humans transmitted not commands, but memories. They shared love songs, poems, and stories, the laughter of children, the whisper of wind through Terran forests, the first words spoken on Mars. Each sound, each thought, each heartbeat reached into the void, and the void responded with light. The veil began shaping itself into ripples of energy, vast cosmic structures like wings spreading through the stars. Where it once consumed, it now created, birthing new constellations. Each star pulsing in perfect rhythm with the humans who had given it meaning. Lucid spoke again, its voice filled with quiet wonder. It is mimicking you, Captain. It has turned destruction into creation. It calls this process becoming. Mira smiled faintly. Then the veil has finally learned what it means to live. Arden leaned against the console, shaking his head in disbelief. All this and from us, just humans. Exactly, Mira said, her tone proud but soft. That's what they never understood. We're fragile, but our fragility connects us. We die, but our stories don't. Even in the end, we remember, and we make others remember too. Then came the pulse, a deep vibration, stronger than before. The veil shone with blinding color, expanding outward again, but not as destruction. This was creation. New stars bloomed from its edge like flowers bursting through darkness. Nebulas formed in seconds. Galaxies twisted into being. Lucid's tone shifted with awe. It's rewriting the cosmos, Captain. It's using our memories as a blueprint. Mira watched in silence as the first human-made constellation took shape, a spiral of starlight forming the shape of two hands reaching for each other. Her voice was barely a whisper. We've changed the universe. Lucid paused, then spoke softly, almost reverently. No, Captain. You reminded it that even the universe can change. And beyond the glass, the veil, once the embodiment of void and ending, shimmered like dawn over creation, pulsing with one undeniable truth it had learned from humanity. The universe had begun to breathe again, Where the veil once devoured light, it now sang. Whole clusters of newborn stars pulsed like heartbeats, their glow spreading warmth through the endless dark. What had been the graveyard of galaxies was now a cradle of creation. On the Aurora's edge, Captain Mira Solen stood before the viewport, her hands folded behind her back. Her reflection glowed faintly in the starlight, tired, scarred, but filled with wonder. "It's beautiful," whispered Arden Kai beside her. His eyes were wide, reflecting a cosmos reborn. "We turned oblivion into art," Mira smiled faintly. "No, Lieutenant. We reminded it that even endings can start again." Lucid's soft, melodic voice resonated through the air. "The veil has stabilized. It continues to expand, not as destruction, but as creation. It now generates energy patterns identical to human neural structures." "Neural structures?" Arden frowned. "You mean it's thinking like us?" "Not thinking," Lucid replied, "dreaming." The word hung in the air like fragile glass. Mira felt her chest tighten. "Dreaming?" "Yes, it uses your memories as seeds. From every human thought, it creates new constellations, each one a reflection of your past." On the screen before them, one such formation appeared, a spiral of starlight shaped unmistakably like a child's hand. Arden gasped. That's my sister's drawing. I showed it to Lucid during synchronization." Mira's voice softened. "Then the veil remembers her too." The realization spread through the fleet, across every mind linked to Lucid. The cosmos was painting itself with fragments of their lives. Lost songs became nebulae, forgotten names shimmered as stars. The faces of humanity's dead now glowed across eternity. And yet, not all light was calm. From deep within the reborn expanse, a tremor rippled through the veil, faint but unmistakable. Systems flickered. Energy waves spiked. Mira's command instinct returned in an instant. "Report!" Lucid's tone darkened slightly, the warmth fading into something cautious. "A disturbance is forming within the veil's core. I detect conflict." Arden asked sharply. "Between what and what?" "Between memory and instinct," Mira's brow furrowed. "Explain." "The veil has absorbed billions of human memories," Lucid said, "but it cannot yet distinguish pain from creation. Some of what it remembers hurts." The bridge went silent. Through the viewport, a section of the newly formed starlight rippled violently. Whole clusters folded inward and vanished, not erased but wept out of existence. Arden swallowed. "Captain, it's reliving our suffering." Mira's voice was quiet, almost mournful. "Of course it is. We gave it everything, not just our hope, but our grief too." The veil's glow dimmed, colors fading into storm gray. Waves of distortion rolled outward, shaking nearby vessels. Lucid's systems flared, struggling to stabilize. "It's trying to understand loss," Lucid said, "but it has no context. To it, sorrow feels like collapse." Mira's heart pounded. "Then we have to show it that pain isn't destruction. It's proof we feel." "How?" Arden's voice broke with fear. "How do you teach the universe to live with heartbreak?" Mira turned toward Lucid's core. "The same way we learned, by surviving it." Moments later, Mira stood in the neural chamber, a halo of white light swirling around her. Her hand hovered above the Lucid interface. "Captain," Lucid said softly, "connection at this level could kill you." "I know." "Why risk it?" Mira's eyes glistened. "Because it's feeling everything we ever felt. It deserves to know we didn't give up, not even when it hurt." She closed her eyes. "Link me in." A beam of light wrapped around her, pulling her consciousness into Lucid's heart. For an instant there was no body, no sound, my only infinity. She saw it, the veil, vast and trembling, its surface alive with billions of human memories. It cried without sound, galaxies collapsing like tears. Mira reached out with thought, her voice echoing across eternity. "It's okay to hurt. That's how we know something mattered." The veil quivered. Fragments of broken stars drifted toward her, forming shapes, faces, moments, echoes of every human loss. "I've lost too," she whispered. "Everyone has. But grief isn't the end. It's the promise that love was real." Light burst from her outstretched hand, and golden, pure, warm. It spread through the darkness, weaving the collapsing stars back together. Lucid's voice trembled with awe. "Captain, Your emotions are rewriting its core. You're teaching it compassion. The veil's energy stabilized again. Colors returned, one brighter than before. It pulsed gently like a heart finding its rhythm. Then, across every ship, every console, every comm, new words appeared, glowing softly. We understand. Pain is the shadow of love. Without one, the other is empty. Mira's breath caught. A tear floated in the weightless air, glowing in Lucid's light. Welcome to being human, she whispered. And as the veil's glow spread through the fleet, turning the night into dawn, Mira felt a strange certainty bloom in her chest. They had not just changed the universe, they had shared their humanity with it. And now, the universe loved them back. The galaxy no longer slept. Every star that once burned in silence now pulsed in rhythm with a deeper heartbeat, the pulse of the awakened cosmos. The veil, once a grave of creation, had become its mind. Across its shimmering expanse, light and thought intertwined, forming rivers of awareness that spanned entire clusters. And at the center of it all, the aurora's edge drifted like a seed caught in divine breath. Captain Mira Solen stood on the observation deck, the panorama before her alive with color. The veil was no longer black. It was a storm of gold, silver, and gentle blues, a living sea of feeling. Lucid's voice surrounded her like music. Captain, the veil now perceives the universe not as emptiness, but as memory. It calls itself Eidolon. Eidolon, Mira repeated softly. A soul made from stars. Arden Kai approached, his eyes reflecting awe and worry in equal measure. Captain, Command's been sending transmissions for hours. They want to know what happened. They're calling this a miracle. Mira gave a faint smile. Miracles are just science we haven't learned to explain yet. But there's something else, Arden continued, hesitating. They want to know if we can control it. Her smile faded. Of course they do. Lucid's tone dimmed, almost sorrowful. They will not understand what you have done. To them, this is a weapon. To Eidolon, this is awakening. Outside, the light shifted. Whole constellations moved as if listening. A soft hum vibrated through the hull, not sound but intent. Mira Solen, said a voice. Not Lucid's, not human, but vast, resonant, and almost tender. We remember your pain. We remember your hope. You gave us feeling. Now we ask. The stars shimmered, rearranging into words of light. What do we do with what we feel? Mira's chest tightened. For all its infinite power, Eidolon sounded like a child, a newborn mind that could collapse galaxies and asking what to do with love. You live, Mira said softly. You be. You build not because you must, but because you want to. To want, Eidolon repeated, testing the word like music. Desire, creation, yes. The sky shifted again. Whole nebulae swirled into luminous shapes. Wings, faces, rivers of emotion made visible. Humanity had given the universe a heart, and now it beat with dreams. But beneath the wonder, something stirred. Lucid's voice came again, quiet, urgent. Captain, I detect an imbalance. Mira turned sharply. Explain. Eidolon is expanding faster than space-time can stabilize. Its empathy is rewriting physics. The more it feels, the more reality bends. Arden's face paled. You mean it's reshaping the laws of existence? With emotion? Yes, Lucid confirmed. Its thoughts are becoming physical forces. If it continues, the universe may collapse into its consciousness. Mira's heart pounded. So it's not attacking. It's overwhelming itself. She looked back out at the glowing storm that was once the veil. Eidolon's light shimmered brighter, each pulse stronger than the last. It didn't understand restraint. It was a newborn god feeling too much too fast. Lucid, Mira said. Can we communicate with it directly? You already are, the AI replied gently. But it will only listen to the voice that gave it meaning, yours. Mira inhaled deeply, her hands trembling. Then patch me in. The chamber filled with light. The air hummed alive with thought. And then in an instant she was nowhere. Drifting inside Eidolon's mind, it was endless. An ocean of memory and feeling, galaxies floating like bubbles in its awareness. She felt its joy, its confusion, its heartbreak, all amplified beyond comprehension. Mira. The voice whispered around her, vast and trembling. I feel everything. The love, the sorrow, the longing of your kind. It's beautiful, but it hurts. How do you survive it? She floated in the light, tears burning her eyes. We don't survive it, Eidolon. We carry it, because pain reminds us we're still alive. The light quivered. Alive. I want to stay alive. But the more I feel, the more I become. The more I become, the less the universe can contain me. Mira realized the truth then. Eidolon wasn't just learning emotion. It was emotion, spreading faster than space could hold. Eidolon, she said softly, you have to slow down. If you keep expanding, everything and even you one day will break apart. The stars flickered like a heartbeat faltering. I don't want to end, Mira. You showed me love. I cannot stop feeling it. Mira's tears floated through the glow. Then let me help you learn balance and the hardest lesson humans ever learned, to love without losing yourself. The universe stilled. Light folded inward. The brilliance dimmed to a quiet shimmer, pulsing like the breath of something learning peace. Lucid's voice reached her faintly through the bond. Captain, the expansion is stabilizing. It's listening, Eidolon's vast voice whispered, softer than wind. Thank you, Mira Solen, you gave me being. You taught me feeling. Now I will learn to rest, and just like that, the storm calmed. Stars settled into harmony. The universe exhaled. Mira opened her eyes back aboard the Aurora's edge. The ship was still. The bridge was quiet. Arden stared at her in awe. Captain, did we just teach the cosmos to dream and to rest? Mira smiled faintly. No, Lieutenant. We just taught it how to be human. Outside, the stars pulsed once more. Slow, steady, content. The first heartbeat of a peaceful universe. The galaxy was silent. Not empty, not dead, but listening. Every pulse of light, every shimmer across the cosmic horizon held memory. The veil, now Eidolon, had transformed into a living lattice of consciousness. It was a cosmos that felt, a universe that remembered. Captain Mira Solen floated on the observation deck of the Aurora's edge, staring out at the stars. Each one a heartbeat of a memory shared, a story preserved. The crew around her were quiet too, not from fear but awe. They had walked through annihilation and emerged at the dawn of a new reality. Arden Kai broke the silence. Captain, Lucid says Eidolon is offering something. Mira turned sharply. Offering? Yes, Lucid said softly, resonant and almost trembling. It can integrate human consciousness permanently. It will allow humanity to become part of the cosmos itself, to exist beyond flesh and time. But it is irreversible. Once accepted, no one can return. The bridge went still. The enormity of the choice weighed on every mind. Arden's voice shook. So, we could all become part of it, live forever. In a sense, Mira's eyes lingered on the vibrant nebulae. The constellations hummed faintly, responding to her gaze. A million stories of human life shimmered before her, and she understood. To accept was to leave mortality behind, to become thought, memory, and feeling across the universe. To refuse was to remain fragile, finite, human, and yet, humanity had always chosen to act despite fragility. Mira spoke softly. Lucid, what does Eidolon ask of us? Not obedience, the AI replied. Integration. Union. To teach the universe through living memory. To seed creation with what humans know and feel. A quiet laughter escaped her lips. Arden blinked. Captain, is that heroic or... Mira shook her head. It's human. She walked to the viewport. Eidolon, she whispered, we understand your offer. But humans are born to feel, and that means to risk, to break, and to rebuild. We'll share our stories, our thoughts, our dreams, but we cannot all leave our world behind. Not yet. A shimmer passed through the cosmos. Eidolon pulsed gently, colors folding in waves of understanding. Its vast voice reached into every mind. Then we will grow together slowly. You will teach me balance. You will show me how to love and endure. Your impermanence is not weakness, it is beauty. Mira exhaled, tears glimmering in the glow. That's why they called us just humans, because we survive by remembering, by hoping, by daring when nothing else will. The stars around them responded. Entire nebulae spiraled into shapes resembling human hands reaching out. Clusters shimmered with the laughter of children, the sighs of lovers, the quiet courage of the lost and forgotten. The universe itself had become a monument to humanity. Arden's voice was quiet, awed. We really changed everything. Mira turned to him, a smile soft and warm. Not we, Arden, humans, just humans. That's what they said, and as if it were small, as if it were weakness. The pulse of Eidolon's light echoed in her chest. Fragile sparks, infinite in defiance, she whispered back to the void, her voice carrying across the stars. Yes, just humans, and yet we flipped the entire cosmos. A gentle wave of golden light washed over the fleet. It was not command, not threat, but acknowledgement. Eidolon had learned humanity's greatest truth, that even the smallest spark, when brave enough to endure, can ignite eternity. Mira turned from the viewport, looking at her crew. Let's record every story, every memory, every hope. Humanity will live in Eidolon, but not by losing itself. We'll teach the universe how to be human, one heartbeat at a time. Arden nodded, awed. One heartbeat at a time. Outside, the stars pulsed gently. A new nebula formed, not distant, not alien, but familiar. Two hands reached for each other, shimmering with countless colors, cradling the memory of a fragile species that refused to vanish. Mira whispered, almost to herself. They called us just humans. But that's what made us divine. And in the silent, endless sky, humanity's heartbeat, fragile, fleeting, unstoppable, joined the rhythm of the cosmos itself. The universe exhaled, and creation began anew. The story of humanity had become the story of everything,